It's Tuesday again, and the vendors have all new stuff. Let's start in the Scholarium.
Have you scribed that?
First up, we have Bound Affix Script Brittle. Adds Brittle, a debuff increasing critical damage taken. Bound Affix Script Heroism. Adds Heroism, a buff increasing ultimate generation. Bound Focus Script Knockback. Adds a knockback. And Bound Signature Script Gladiator's Tenacity. Adds damage reduction. And it looks like that's it. We're going to head over to Imperial City next. We've made our way to Imperial City sewers. Let's see what the Telvar merchant has.
It's not like...
First up, we have Western Skyrim treasure maps at 6,000 Telvar. I don't recommend this. They're pretty cheap on traders. But if you're curious, Western Skyrim brings us Eternal Vigor, Venomous Smite, and Winter's Respite, as well as a chance for maybe some paintings. Our scripts, we have Bound Affix Script Courage. Adds Courage, a buff increasing weapon and spell damage. Bound Focus Script Dispel. Adds a Dispel. And Bound Signature Script Crusader's Defiance. Adds removal of debilitating effects. Fragment of the Thorn is part of the Silver Bolt's Vibrant Yellow skill style. Obviously, this one comes out of Castle Thorn from the final boss. Remember, this is a guaranteed drop if you go into Castle Thorn and kill the final boss. But if you want to avoid dungeons, or if you want to avoid DLC dungeons, because they are a little bit more difficult, even in normal, it is here for 25,000 Telvar. I think that's pretty steep, but it is here if you need it. Next up, we have our leads. First one is Tonal Pivot Joints. This is part of Esoteric Environment Greaves and drops from the Vardenfell Public Dungeon Forgotten Wastes off of the group event. Next up is Twitching Eyeball. This is part of Mora's Whispers and drops out of Imperial City Prison, and this one drops only off the Watcher boss. I will say, the first time I tried to get this one, it took me dozens of runs to get it. Not only do you have to queue up for it or find a group willing to run, but then it is kind of a doozy to drop. So I don't think this one's a bad deal at all. And then our jewelry this week, we have Harbinger as well as Morag Tong. Now, Morag Tong has kind of floated in and out of vogue, so not a bad one to have just in case. All right, let's head over to Infinite Archive. And our third vendor, of course, is Filer Ool in the Infinite Archive.
Don't complain to me if you want.
I'm excited about these treasure maps. Telvanni Peninsula gives us a lot of leads. We'll take a peek at that in a second. But otherwise, Telvanni Peninsula brings us Adamant Lurker, Kimona Tong, and Vivek's Duality. If we look at using our add-on here, this is called Display Leads. We have Apocrypha Fossil Arch, Apocrypha Fossil Bones Large, Apocrypha Fossil Nautilus, Apocrypha Fossil Worm, Arms of Glory, which is part of the Apocryphal Well, Cliffstrider Skeleton Stand, another piece of the Well, Emergent Shadow, Mushroom Classification Book, Ring of Stone, which is our third piece of the Apocryphal Well. These all only drop from Telvanni Peninsula and Apocrypha treasure maps. They're all furnishings, including the three pieces of the Apocryphal Well make a furnishing. Remember, if you have 3 furnishings dug up, you can then buy it with gold through the achievement vendor in that zone. So as a houser, my goal is to get 3 of every furnishing, which means I am not quite done with treasure maps in Telvanni Peninsula. So this is kind of exciting, and I will probably buy a couple. Actually, I only need 2 more leads, it looks like. So that's exciting. All right, Archival Riddles. Consume 20 Archival Riddles to unlock the Archival Veteran Achievement and the Veteran of the Infinite Body Art. Here's the Veteran of the Infinite Body Art. I typically tell you that these are too expensive. At 3,000 Archival Fortunes apiece, for 20 of them, that ends up being 60,000 Archival Fortunes. You get collectible fragments every single time you complete one of the Infinite Archive dailies. They come in a set order. It will take you a while, but they are guaranteed. You'll eventually get there. So I usually tell people not to bother with these. Not only are they guaranteed with the daily, but they do also periodically drop within the archive. So just hang tight, you'll get it. Our first pattern this week, Blueprint Deadlands are more etched. On PCNA, there's only 6 listings ranging from 55,000 to 150,000. I think for 2,000 archival fortunes, that's not too bad. Solitude Armchair High-Backed Noble, 5 listings from 45,000 to 55,000. Again, not too terrible for 2,000 archival fortunes. Bound Affix Script Protection adds protection, a buff reducing damage taken. Bound Focus Script Disease Damage adds disease damage. Bound Signature Script Assassin's Misery adds improved use of status effects. And then our style page this week is Engine Guardian Mask. It looks pretty cool. I usually tell you guys to buy the masks. I do think the masks are worth it. This one is from Darkshade Caverns 2, which is a base game dungeon, of course. But while the hard mode of this is not terrible at all, and hard mode achievement makes it more likely that this will drop during its drop window. That window is only about 4 days long, and the drop rate is atrocious. I think it's worth 15,000 archival fortunes if you like to collect the masks. So that is here this week. Companion Equipment Light Armor. I typically tell you guys not to buy these. You are at the mercy of RNG as to which trait you're going to get, and they are bound, so you can't grab a bunch and sell the ones you don't want. So I think 5,000 archival fortunes is a bit steep. And out of the patterns, this is the one I like the least. It is a base game pattern. It's only worth about 9,000 to 15,000 gold, but it is here for 2,000 archival fortunes if you don't have it yet. Next up, Fragment of Madness. This is one of 5 pieces for the Annulment Vibrant Yellow skill style. This one drops off the final boss in the dungeon Vaults of Madness. Again, the fragments are a guaranteed drop, so if you are willing to run a dungeon, Vaults of Madness is one of the easier ones. You can do it on normal, and it's a guaranteed drop off that final boss. Okay, our leads. First up, Oriel Metal Carvings. This is for the mythic Snow Treaders and drops off of Bleak Rock Isle mobs. Our next lead is Harvester Scale Plating. This is another piece of the Esoteric Environment Greaves, and this one drops out of the Telvanni Peninsula Public Dungeon Gorn in the group event. Our first book is Life in the Kimona Tong. Of course, now all of these books we have seen before as they are repeating. 1,000 archival fortunes, though, is not bad for these books. This book drops out of Infinite Archive, and the eidetic memory comes out of the Kimona Rune Delve in Telvanni Peninsula. Next up, we have Mummified Elfique parts. This is part of the Grizzly Mummy Tabby. You need 10 of these to make the pet. These run about 2,600 to 3,300 gold on PCNA. I think I'd rather buy these for gold than for archival fortunes. They're about the same price. I think archival fortunes are worth more gold than that. So if you need them, I would say farm them either in the Rim and Necropolis Public Dungeon in Northern Elsewhere where they drop, or just go buy them off traders. And then last up, we have our second book, Persistence of Daedric Veneration. This one drops out of Scrivener's Hall, and the eidetic memory actually comes out of Cyrodiil. Once again, my house is listed on home tours under Spantifical or Span's Guildhall, and I do have all of the books on both PCNA and PCEU. All right, let's run a couple Arcs of Infinite Archive and see what new gear is dropping this week. We just ran some Infinite Archive, and it looks like this week we have gear dropping from Cold Harbor. That includes Meridia's Blessed, Prisoner's Rags, and Stygian. And we also have gear dropping from Hughesbane, which includes Baraha's Curse and Severa's Scales. That's going to do it for this week. We'll see you in the next one.